Hello, my name is Allison Carmen, and welcome to my podcast, 10 Minutes to Less Suffering. Today I want to talk to you about living in the blessing. And what I mean by that is living in appreciation for the life that we have. Living in the appreciation of being alive, of being here, of having friends, family. And I think what happens to all of us is that life has suffering in it, and we've talked about that before. And whether your suffering is big or whether it's small, sometimes it just takes over. And we forget that there are blessings in our lives because things become very uncomfortable. We could have physical pain, we could have emotional pain, we could have spiritual pain. And it's not that we don't appreciate the things in our lives, but the pain and the suffering take center stage. And I'm always amazed how I could wake up in the morning and I could think about all my blessings. And I could say, today I'm going to live in my blessing. I think about my friends. I think about my family. I think about my children. I think about my work. And my heart feels so full. And then I could get an email. I could have a problem with one of my clients. One of my daughters could not feel well. Someone could be rude to me when I'm walking out of my building. There could be an environmental tragedy. Something in the political world could be bothering me. And it always amazes me how quickly my mind could just leave that center place where I feel blessed. And something else takes center stage. For some reason, the blessings fade in the background, and whatever is making us uncomfortable is all we could think about. And I've thought a lot about this in my life, about why the blessings are not always so apparent to us. And I think it's because being uncomfortable and having pain is something that none of us like. It doesn't make us feel at ease. It doesn't make us feel happy. So what we do is when something happens we don't like, we resist it. And it's almost like our whole body tightens up, and whatever is happening, it almost gets stuck inside of us. And the argument with it grows and grows and grows, and it's almost like our resistance empowers it. And I've come to a point that I believe it's just about remembering that it's a choice where we're going to put our thoughts. What about allowing our blessings to always be center stage? I think what happens is we say, oh, I feel so blessed, I have these things in my life. But I think we need to stop at each one and feel the sacredness of it. Feel what it's like when your child hugs you. Feel how meaningful it is for you to have a home. Think about what that home does for you, how it makes you feel. I know people walk into their homes and they're like, this is broken and that's broken and I need to renovate and this place is awful. But it's a home where you get to eat, where you get to sleep, where you get to rest, where you get to have family events, where you get to see friends. Really feel what that's like. If you're going to have a good meal, try not to just talk through the whole meal. Stop and pause and chew and really feel the sensation, what it's like to have food in your mouth, the taste, the blessing. Sometimes in the morning, before I get out of bed, I try to feel every part of my body and feel how blessed I am that every part of my body works in that moment. I try to drink water really slowly to feel the miracle of what that feels like. I try to make those sensations just as big, just as bold as the things that bother me. And when something happens that's uncomfortable, I try not to get that uptightness, that rigidness. Because that rigidness, it empowers what's bothering me. And that's what allows it to take center stage, is my resistance. So sometimes it feels counterintuitive, but when something's really making me feel stressed or worried, I try to relax my body. And I try to investigate it. I try to feel it. And sometimes it'll just pass. And sometimes it'll stay. But when I don't give it that resistance or that intense emotion, it doesn't seem to move in the center. Because if I could stay relaxed, then I could still feel the blessings. And I still feel everything happening at once. So one of the biggest things about when something we don't like happens, and we don't become rigid, and we don't resist it, and we don't argue with it, it's not the loudest voice in the room. You might feel uncomfortable, and it's not that something is not going to make you upset, because it could. But you could see it within the blessing of life. Now, I don't think I've said anything today that you haven't heard before. But are you practicing it? Are you really deeply feeling the sacredness of everything in your life that is meaningful? And not just saying, oh, I'm so thankful for everything. Really feel it. Feel it so deep in your core. Because that's where you're going to feel a lot of your stress and your worry in the same place. And when you feel your blessings, try to relax and feel the ease and the depth. And when you feel your stress and you feel your worry, try to relax. Try to allow it to flow within you, even if it's painful. Because if everything's flowing, it has a place to meet. If everything's flowing, your pain can meet your blessing. And it could all exist at the same time. When we resist our pain and our anguish and the uncertainty and the disappointments, it grows. It becomes so intense within us that it just becomes everything. And there's no room. And sometimes when you're in pain, the only room will be the sun on your face or a nice call or a hug. Because sometimes pain can really take over our lives. But if we keep trying to relax our body and we keep trying to let go and we keep trying to open, then we have a willingness to allow something else in. When we're rigid, we're uptight, when we hold on, when there's no space, when there's no breath, there's no room. And some days you'll only feel your blessing. And some days you might only feel your pain. But if we could practice this, I can guarantee that more days you'll feel all or some of your blessings. And it will soften the things that are bothering you, that are hurting you. Because you'll be feeling the depths of the sacredness of the blessings in your life. So how can we do this? How can we practice this? First, write down your blessings. Don't just write them, feel them. Feel what it means to have parents or children or a home or a job or a walk or something you like to look at or something that's meaningful to you. Your body, how it moves, eating food, whatever brings you joy, whatever feels like a blessing. And keep it in your pocket and put on your iPhone, put it wherever you need to put it that you see it many times during the day. And try to practice when something bothers you, when something's uncertain, when you're afraid. Try to relax your body instead of holding on, instead of getting uptight. Watch the sensations in your body and try not to hold on to them. And you will watch some of them pass and some of them won't. Some of them will stay with you. And then see if you could connect back to your blessings, the depth of your blessings. And you might find that there's room for both. And sometimes even your blessings squeeze out your stresses because it gives you perspective. You'll find that things that bother you are not so meaningful. And you can easily let go of them. Or you could put them away a little bit and realize that you don't know how things will work out and life has maybe, and maybe you feel uncomfortable, but it's okay. There's still hope and possibility. And yes, other times the pain might be so great, but this relaxation and the sacredness of anything that you could find as a blessing will soften it. It'll let the sun at least shine around it. So understanding the sacredness of the blessings in your life will lead you to a happier life. A life with more ease and grace and joy. And it will also hold the pain and the suffering you might have at times in your life. It'll give you perspective, and it will also allow you to live a life with very deep meaning. Because I think deep down, we all want to live a meaningful life. But we're moving so quickly, and we become so detached from all that is, and we become obsessed with what's not. So living in the blessing is becoming obsessed with the life that we have, and feeling its beauty and feeling its joy, and allowing that to be the foundation for us to live our best lives. Thank you for listening to this podcast today. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you can email me at allison@allisoncarmen.com. If you'd like to buy my book, The Gift of Maybe, it's available at all major bookstores and online retailers. And if you like this podcast, you can subscribe and leave a comment.